Space. It's vast and infinite until it's your kitchen during the holidays. Fortunately, solutions exist. So says Sarah from the Container Store.
Right.
Sarah, what gives you the power to make space for the holidays?
For starters, pantry and fridge organizers. They quickly create space where you need it most, so you and your guests can find things.
Sarah, creator of space and holiday happiness.
Or just Sarah.
At the Container Store, where space comes from.
Plus, get stocking stuffers for everyone for up to 50% off. Hurry before they're gone.
Hello everyone, welcome to the first ever episode of The Scoop. My name is Spencer Walsh, and on today's show, the CNN New York offices were evacuated due to a bomb threat. We're going to do some quick hits on the media news of the week, a discussion about access journalism, and Tucker Carlson losing an embarrassing argument to a socialist? What? Alright, my name is Spencer Walsh. Thank you so much for joining us here today. It is The Scoop, your brand new media show, just in time for New Year, your Christmas present from the Spencer Walsh Radio Network. And today, joining me to help kick things off right, we have not had him on in a while. It's good to have James Stanley back with us.
Thanks for having me on.
James, thank you so much for kicking off the new year, kicking off the new show helping us kick off the new show in the right way.
Oh yeah, no problem.
All right. So before we do anything, there has been a little bit of a problem going on right now in CNN. I just want to get to this very quickly because pretty much everything's fine now. But just to give you an idea of what happened, CNN's New York offices were evacuated in the Time Warner Center. They were evacuated due to a bomb threat. The offices and studios were vacated after an alarm bell rang at 10:30 p.m. when Don Lemon was on the air. Apparently, there were up to 5 bombs in the CNN building. NYPD's bomb squad arrived. That's what their thought was. The call said was made to 911 from the south of the United States, saying there were up to 5 bombs in the building. Of course, not surprising, the South. Don't want to make any generalization to get the South, but it's not that surprising. NYPD says they received a 911 call about a bomb threat to CNN at 10:07 p.m. And then Trump tweeted about fake news 1 minute later saying, quote, "Fake news is the enemy of the people." On all caps, that's just it. So, Brian Steinberg reported that CNN got the all clear at around midnight and everything went back to normal. So, what do you make of this crazy event?
Well, what I make of this is definitely the division we have right now in this country. And Trump is not doing really anything about it by just going on Twitter and saying the fake news is the enemy of the people, is just making the division even worse. I'm not really too shocked that the CNN bomb threat did occur, as right now during this time a lot of rather hefty Trump supporters listen to him and they admire him, especially through what he tweets out. And really, his attacks on CNN as being a fake news media channel really just kind of gives them the energy to go out and basically do this, because their president is basically saying that that's fine, that they're fake news, and that, if there was a bomb and it exploded, he probably wouldn't even really care. He would probably be like, okay, well, that's actually good, because now that, news source won't be here anymore. Not even to mention that his own propaganda news system called No Facts Fox News also spreads his propaganda throughout the entire country. We got Tucker Carlson on there. The only guests they ever get on there are people like Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk, who can't back up their claims and post videos of liberals who rather aren't that educated compared to the majority of liberals who are, basically to try to show that they can beat them in an argument when that's not always true.
Yeah, and a lot of we're going to get into one of the areas where Tucker Carlson, later on the show, we're going to talk about when Tucker Carlson actually made a big mistake, and he asked someone on who absolutely destroyed him pretty good. And this is something I've been meaning to play for you, and we will play a little bit of that coming up. So, yeah, this is definitely a very big thing. I really do question, what would his reaction be? Would he be like, oh no, I really care so much? Or would he pretend to care, or would he just be like, oh no, whatever? Because I'm sure there would be some Trump supporters who would be like, I don't know, it's not a big deal to me if the entire CNN blows up. Because they think, some Trump supporters, especially the ones who go to his rallies and everything like that, they think some crazy things about the people of CNN. They think they're not even human in some scenarios. It's crazy. Yeah, so hopefully CNN just does continue to stay safe because, again, these are real people, real families. No matter what you think of them, you should not want them to blow up. It's that simple. So it has been quite a day this past Friday, and we're going to take a look at some of the top headlines as we start our quick hits of this media news. Here are some good ones. NewYorkTimes.com. Keeping it simple. Trump directed illegal payments during campaign, prosecutors say, of course, with the biggest Michael Cohen news against Trump and Paul Manafort. WSJ saying, quote, Mueller's team says Cohen gave significant help on Russia probe. Feds, this is CNN, says Feds, Cohen broke the law at Trump's direction. Drudge with the good joke there. Ake News, which is funny. NBC went to a split homepage with two equally weighted headlines. Cohen told Mueller about contacts between Trump aides, and Manafort lied about contacts with Trump administration, Mueller says. So there's two double-edged sword of major news this past Friday with Manafort and Cohen both getting rung up in the latest court filings by Robert Mueller. Fox News, though, they had an interesting, no facts Fox, as you say. Nothing to see. White House claims no news in Cohen Manafort memos as Trump tweets he's totally clear. So obviously they're taking the Trump narrative on that one. And then New York Post, Donald in the terrible, no good, horrible, very bad day. So yeah, it really is very interesting to go across the spectrum of media narratives from Drudge to New York Times, Fox, the New York Post, and everything about this pretty incredible news that took place here. And it's very interesting always to see, in my opinion, how the media covers it. And everyone's lying to Robert Mueller. He knows it. And they're not going to be able to get away with it for a very long time, James. I certainly think.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely not going to be able to get away with it for. Even looking at Manafort and looking at what's going on with Cohen, we're just walking on hot water right now, especially with the fact that Cohen actually came out saying that he lied. Even Fox News, again, like I mentioned before, they're literally just a propaganda news company for the Trump administration. They don't listen to the facts at all times. They said Obama was a horrible president because the economy was weak. Well, but he turned the economy around after Bush gave Obama a complete garbage dump, and he turned it into a beautiful $10 million mansion, for example. Now Trump is in that mansion right now, and he's throwing stuff around in it, breaking all the valuable stuff. And we're getting close to the point where Trump might just bomb it up and make it into a garbage dump again. Bond markets recently have been getting low. Our economic growth has slowed down to numbers 1929 levels, and especially our economic growth is starting to slow down a lot more. We only added 155,000 jobs in the last job report, which is a lot lower than what economists were expecting. Our stock markets have been tumbling entirely last week. Interest rates are going to most likely go up, which is the complete wrong thing to do. But, they don't really care about our students. We got a big problem right now going on with all of the student loans. Mm-hmm. And, Fox is just making it seem like that the interest rate hike would be good when it actually is just going to hurt people in the long run. So, it
definitely ends up hurting some of those vulnerable people, including so many of our students that are actually getting into older age right now, and people who are still paying off student loan debt back into the 40s or whatever, and 50s even. It's just crazy, crazy stuff. So, it's quite disturbing. But with this Mueller stuff, I think it's very interesting. Mueller, he's really putting the pieces together on Trump. CNN legal analyst Ellie Honig said that Trump needed Russia for his business dealings. Russia wanted Trump to win so they could influence or control him. The Trump team wanted Russian help simply because they thought the Russians could help Trump win the election. Now we're getting a better idea of how the pieces fit in here and who wanted what from who. Everyone profits, everyone gets what they want. All of that depended, of course, on the truth remaining hidden. Mueller has already exposed plenty of truth, much in the court filings the past 2 weeks, and he's made clear there's much more to come. What do you see happening now that we have gone through this past week from this Mueller investigation?
Oh, definitely. A lot of backfiring stuff is what I'm seeing here. Cohen, this is the second time that he's had to plead guilty to something, especially this second time around. This is even worse. This time around, he is pleading guilty to lying to Congress, which is probably like the worst thing you could probably, have to plead guilty to, because you didn't have to lie. Like, it was preventable. And I just think that looking at what's going on right now with Mueller, he's going down a right path right now, and the Republicans are not happy with it because they're getting caught. That's why they want this entire thing to be stopped. Due to the fact that close people to Trump are being caught, and people who, Trump rather likes, like Cohen, he doesn't particularly like as much as he likes Manafort or Roger Stone, for example. But these people, Roger Stone, for example, and these people are just very close to Trump, and the reason why, in my opinion, they want to get this entire thing shut down is because of the fact that the people who are getting caught are people who are close to Trump, and also because they don't want them to get closer to themselves. For example, Trump probably doesn't want them to get closer to him or get closer to an ally of his that he might possibly know had interaction with the Russians. For example, Michael Flynn, Trump's former national security advisor in the beginning portion of his term, he had to resign actually like almost like 6 to 7 months into his job because of the Mueller investigation that came out, showing that he had very in-depth discussions with many shady Russians. And Trump actually said he might pardon Michael Flynn. I don't think he did, however. But I mean, pardoning someone who has enough proof of doing something incorrect, I think it's just really, you don't just pardon someone because you know them and because you like them. You pardon someone because you look at the facts and you see that they were injustly put to trial and found guilty of something that they have no evidence of.
And I think
he's just using.
I think another thing like that could be interesting with Trump, if he does do that, and so far it looks like the people he pardoned were the possible people that are up for pardon chances, could either be Michael Flynn or Paul Manafort, because he's talked about them the most favorably as of recent time. So, and I think that's very interesting because never before it's very rare, and something you're not supposed to do is pardon a person who could come up in. Who you could be called in as a witness for their trial. And Trump very well, if you think about it, very, very well, could be called in as a witness for the trial of either Michael Cohen or, Michael Flynn or Paul Manafort. And there's only one president who's done that, and that's the one we lost this week with George H.W. Bush. So that's very interesting, a little bit of connection there if he does try to do that. And a lot of those same things it's also very interesting how history kind of repeats itself, and we're seeing the same recurring situations again and again. So, yeah, and it's also very interesting to see, like, this definitely, we can both agree, we're looking at this thing kind of honestly. We recognize that this is kind of for real, but some people need some extra convincing. Obviously, that is Sean Hannity. So this recap was put forth by CNN. Hannity spent his opening monologue unsurprisingly dismissing the Mueller revelations. He recited his normal talking points, calling the probe a witch hunt, among other things. But I mean, imagine if this is some sort of news we're breaking in relation to a President Hillary Clinton. Hannity would be just crazy. He'd be outraged. There would be talk of a constitutional crisis. There would be calls for her to step aside, resign, or be impeached. But Hannity obviously just carries his water in all circumstances, no matter how damning the facts look, as we know. And also very interesting here are some new pieces today that are coming into place. Trump is disciplined about the repetition of his terms witch hunt, repeats it over and over again. NPR PBS News Mayor's poll finds that only Republicans view this Mueller probe as a witch hunt. And as Philip Bump wrote on Friday, for all of his fury on Twitter, Trump really does not seem to be persuading anyone at this point in time. So yeah, do you think it's going to be very effective though? I just don't see this happening. People are going to stay in their same camps, and no one's really going to change any opinions. I think it just comes down to the point, like, you have to start. You have to stop worrying about convincing people, and you have to look to Mueller for real results, because even Trump can't